instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. All right, this is the Flagstick Podcast. It is presented by Ping Golf Canada. If you're looking to improve your game, then you need to check out the entire family of G425 drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons at ca.ping.com. I am your host, or one of your hosts, Jeff Potter, publisher and founder of Flagstick Golf Magazine, flagstick.com. And with me, as always, and back in the saddle after another 1 week vacation. Just about said vacation.
Hey,
it's not a vacation.
No vacation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
a 1 week trip.
Yes.
This time out west.
Right.
The east the last time, west this time. Scott McLeod is with me.
How you doing,
Scott,
Jeffrey?
I'm good. Are you somewhat rested, recovered, and ready to tackle?
I'm ready to tackle the
podcast.
I will not say I'm fully rested yet, but I don't know when you ever are during the golf season. But my trip west to British Columbia to Whistler was pretty good. Got a couple of rounds in there. Get to spend some time with some other media folks, and as we'll get to in this show, some time with the team at Adidas Golf, looking at some products as well, and testing some products in a unique way, which was kind of fun.
Now, unlike the the trip out east, this one was not so much of a golf familiarization trip. This was a product launch product thing for Adidas Golf Canada. So little
Adidas
different.
Golf worldwide, actually.
Worldwide.
So,
little different. So yes, we do have your interview with Global Golf Product Manager Sarah Marai. And we're going to play that later in the show, but got some other great things going on in this podcast, especially in the front nine. We got the Ping Challenge Cup. We got the OUA Golf Championships coming up. We got EOSA.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I went to high school, that's what we called it. It's like the EOSSAA, EOSA. We got Kevin Haime on the lesson tee. Just an amazing show. And this is what happens when you take a week to do some other things and you come back. Happens. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff to discuss. So you know what? Let's just really get right at it and get to the front nine, presented by our good friends, of course, at Metcalf Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Looking for fun golf at a great rate. Save 15% when you prepay. Visit metcalfgolf.com to book. Okay. Let's dive in, Scott. The Ping Challenge Cup. Now, this is, you want to start with the Ping Challenge Cup? Do you want to start with some of the other stuff? Okay.
No.
The Ping Challenge Cup. Now we have to sort of set the table here.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the Ping Challenge Cup is it's the head professionals versus the assistant professionals from the PGA Ottawa zone.
Correct.
Teams are made up over the course of the year. They receive points throughout the year for the events that they play in to get them a direct spot, much like a Ryder Cup or a President's Cup, on one of the Ping Challenge Cup teams. Now it gets a little crazy because there's each team is made up of main tour event players, senior players, and there's also
some
the
picks
women
as well.
Women were added as well.
Yep.
So now some seniors are head pros, some seniors are assistant pros. We don't really. They could be on either team at any given year, depending on where they finished in the point standings and whatnot. But once the teams are formed, then the local rep for Ping Golf Canada, Andre Boris, chooses his ping picks, they call them, as opposed to captain's picks. We have nothing to do with those. The ping picks, and then the teams are made, and then. Then once that happens, then you and I,
captains.
Yes, you and I, as the captains of myself, a captain of the head professionals, and you, the captain of the assistant professionals, we get to the honor and the daunting task of pairing these players together for this year. This year was a 2-day event.
Yeah.
First day, 9 holes of there's
better
3
ball.
matches in total. First day, it's 9 holes of better ball, best ball, and the 9 holes in the afternoon or following that is alternate shot, Chapman, modified Chapman, and then day 2 singles, mono in mono, 1-on-1, and it can be some of those matches can be very.
Those are fun because
Yes.
the thing is we always get requests as well. I mean, the fact that we obviously take care of the pairings is a fun thing, but we certainly get a few requests where the president of the zone wants to take on the vice president of the zone.
Yeah.
2 people that used to work with each other want to go after each other. An assistant pro and a head pro want to play against each other. So, it makes it really interesting. And to hear some of those requests come in, and then, as you said, having 2 days this year changed the dynamic a little bit. The fact that we had a wider range of choices of how to set up the matches on the second day, and a lot of guys look forward to this. A lot of guys and girls now look forward to this just because it's sort of a reward for a season long of good play. Getting the picks, having that sort of friendly rivalry. There's no purse for this event. We'll make that known. But it's pride. It's pride that's on the line, whether that's at an individual level or at a team level, and that's one of the hard parts that you find out. Watching and playing it, each individual player, they can only take care of their own. That's about it. But they want to do well for their team for sure.
Now the thing is, yes, you say there's no purse for this. There is a trophy.
There is a trophy.
It's a beautiful trophy, and it's going to look very, very nice in my office.
For a change.
The great thing about the Pain Challenge Cup too is that this is not one of those President's Cup deals where it's lopsided to one side over another side for so many years. This is
generally not.
This year we went in, HPs were up 6-5.
Yeah.
So there, the opportunity was there. The door had swung wide open for the APs.
I think it hit us in the face.
I think the door was spring loaded when you opened it, and it came back and slammed you.
Oh boy!
So the opportunity was there to take and even up the series, but unfortunately for the APs, and very fortunate for my HPs, the HPs won, and we're now up 7-5, 16-8.
I know
was the total. Now, it was the opening day that really killed it, because if you look at the singles matches on day 2, the singles matches were pretty even. Split.
Yeah, there was 7-5 for the single matches, but we were down 9-3 after the opening day.
Yeah.
So in a bit of a hole. We should say this year, it was hosted at the Hylands Golf Club, which is the first time for them hosting it. Shout out to Matt Clitheroe, Perry, all the team, Mark Lacombe, all the team over there. They did a fantastic job. The course was in fantastic shape, I have to say. Greens were really good. I was very impressed. I hadn't spent a lot of time before on the South course there. In fact, I think I only played there once, and it was 20 some odd years ago. So went in a little bit blind there, and we can talk why that may have been more important, especially for me going this year versus other years. It was in great shape, and everybody really enjoyed it.
Now, unfortunately, should say this is the first year in the 12 years of the Pain Challenge Cup that I was not able to be in attendance. But
they were in spirit.
Yes, thank goodness for Golf Genius. The wonderful Golf Genius tournament software allowed myself and pretty much anybody that wanted to follow the matches live as they were happening. So I was well aware of what was going on and what was at stake from match to match. So, unfortunately, I was unable to attend, but looking very much forward to being able to be back in my captain's cart chair. Now, who knows? Maybe there was the possibility that you and I were going to end up having a captain versus captain match.
I think there's a lot of people that were excited about that possibility, and actually,
I'm sure you were. You were looking for a guaranteed point.
There's a lot of discussion about that and how much they wanted to see that as part of the event.
Maybe we just make it so that it's going into next year. We just make it so that it actually is a thing.
you
that
never
it's
know.
not a, it's not a me filling a spot,
Right.
kind of thing. Let's just make it a thing.
Yeah.
The match has got to
Which
happen.
which I ended up doing, filling a spot.
Yes, you did. You took a spot and you played as a playing captain for the first time in 12 years. And congratulations. You did take down Colin Orr. That's a big takedown. Colin's a good player, and you took him down through, I think, 3-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a good match. I mean, first off, day one, I partnered with Sean Banfield, and we played Dan McNeely, and Colin. Did not succeed there. Tried as we might. I mean, we birdied 3 of the first 6 holes, but Colin was making every putt, and we had them early on in the first match. We were up 1 through 7, and then we lost 8, and they won 9. Notice how I said that?
Mm-hmm.
We lost 8, they won 9. Dan McNeely drove the green on the par 4, and 2 putted for birdie there, and then so unfortunately we didn't get it there. Fun the second day, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, go out in singles matches. I'll have to say, it's like any tournament. You'll feel a little bit of nerves, and again, having not played the South Course in many, many years, didn't really remember it. Kind of forgot how narrow it is in a
Yeah,
lot
definitely.
of
Yeah,
parts.
100%.
So really had to depend on the tee ball more than anything, but it was the putter that got hot for me, and kind of kept me in it, and I was fortunate to get a 3-2 victory there. So that felt good. It was nice to not only compete, and obviously I play some zone events, but to do it in the team format where your team is depending on you. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough overall.
Hey,
When
you
I
did.
came in, I'm like, hey, I got my point, and then everybody's like hanging their head, going, oh, I guess I didn't get mine. I was like, oh boy. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's early matches. You needed to take some of those
yeah.
points early on, because we only needed 4 on the second day
Yeah,
to
I will
clinch.
say
So.
though, the other thing was our pairing for the final day in our group. We had Executive Director Caroline Baxter with us, and Sarah Landry, who's over at Rivermead now.
Mhm.
Wonderful to play with those two. This is the first time women have been included as a part of the tournament, which is fantastic as far as
Mhm.
playing in teams, and we hope to see more of that. We don't have a lot of female members of the zone, but nice to see at least a couple there representing their clubs and themselves, and it made for a great day. Fine players, and good to see, and made for overall a great experience for me.
Cool. All right. So just to recap, HP's victory 16-8
Oh
after
gosh,
a 9-3
it's
opening
painful to
day,
hear that. Yeah.
and HP's are now up 7 Ping Challenge
7-5.
Cups to 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll get that trophy back from you soon, and I will get that engraved, and I will get
Mm.
that displayed proudly in my office. And then maybe we can talk to Hylands, if Hylands is going to host now for a bit. Maybe we can talk to them about getting a spot to display the trophy at the club,
Yeah,
um, as it was at Greyhawk when we were hosted there.
for
All
sure.
right. What's next, Scott? What's next? Sorry, I got to collect
Well,
myself. I'm at the
well,
excitement of the Ping Challenge
speaking
Cup.
of Highlands, they have another event coming up there. Another big
Oh, right,
significant event.
the OUAs.
Correct. So the
Yeah.
Ontario University Golf Championship, they don't play a lot of events in the Ontario University circuit. It's kind of a split for Canadian colleges and universities. Colleges have their separate event, the OCAA's, which happened this past week in the Niagara region. The universities kind of have a schedule, normally 3 to 4 events sort of in the fall. And then the Canadian University College Championships, which is combined, happens in the springtime. So, but you know what? That OUA, that Ontario Championship, we'll see the top universities from around the province, their golf teams. They'll be coming to Highlands on
Nice.
October 15th, 16th. And as I mentioned, the courses are in great shape, and the team there is certainly top notch, and they're excited about having the event there. So nice to see that event come to Ottawa, because I'm not sure when was the last time it actually was in Ottawa.
Yeah, well, that's great. Good venue for it. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
Sticking with the school theme,
Yes, sir.
EASA wrapped up at Upper Canada
Yeah.
over the weekend, and Carter Jarrett,
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Renfrew's Carter Jarrett. He who we had some injury issues at
Mhm.
our 2-ball championship, but Carter plays out of the Renfrew Golf Club. He won the boys championship there at Upper Canada on October 3rd. And then Avery Foy, who's a member at Homestead at Wolf Ridge, which, I can say, I haven't seen her name a lot before. So it's always nice to see a lot of newcomers coming in. She won the girls' side of it. She plays at Bishop Smith up in the upper Ottawa Valley. So nice to see there for sure.
Okay, and Lauren Gervais from
Yes.
Nepean,
Yeah.
she got her first collegiate victory recently as well.
Yeah. So Lauren, if a lot of people should be familiar with her name, she's I think she's won an OVJ title of some sort every year for the last 6. But she's a freshman at Davenport University down in Michigan. And she won medalist honors for her Panthers team at the Lewis Flyer Intercollegiate last week, which was played at Cog Hill in Illinois. So if people are not familiar with Cog Hill, you want to look it up. Very difficult golf course, very challenging golf course, has a long history of hosting PGA Tour events. She played brilliantly within her play, and she basically parred the final 7 holes to hold off another player and win by 4 shots. So good for her. That's only her second, I think, event into the season. And to have that individual victory is great for her. Obviously, it boosts your confidence as a player. And it's nice to see more of the Ottawa kids that are just getting down and playing, college and university golf, both in the US and Canada, finding success.
Cool. All right. Well, we powered through, Scott. We powered through that front 9 pretty easily. And
I should mention before we mention it. I mean, I'm going to ask you the question because this is a question I've actually asked as a poll on flagstick.com. But
okay,
did you play as much golf as you wanted to in 2020? I know the answer probably, but I was surprised by our poll answers.
So what did the poll reveal?
The poll basically said, did you play as much golf as you wanted in 2022? Which, when we asked that same question in 2021, we got a resounding yes. The majority of the people were on the yes side. This year was 60% no. And okay. I wonder if that has to do with more people going back to work, courses being maybe a little bit busier, so access was a little bit less, or maybe just people traveling more, getting back to routines. But 60% or almost 60%, 59.04 or something like that, said they did not play as much golf as they wanted.
Now, for me, I would say this. It's kind of a split no and yes. So no, I think I kind of wanted to play a little bit more around.
So you're in the 3% of unsures.
Yeah, I'm kind of an unsure because I think once I started playing little 9 holes after supper and stuff like that, that's what I like to do. So once I started doing that with my younger son Brandon, we started playing 9 holes after dinner, and we did that a lot. There were stretches where it was like 5-6 nights in a row.
Sure.
Because we could get out on the golf course easier than we could the last couple of years, because you didn't have to have a tee time to do that like you did before as far as contact tracing stuff. I think the one thing, and Brandon would probably agree with me, is that we wanted to play a little bit more around at courses that we hadn't played. It's more travel. Like we did get down and played Smuggler's Glen. But we wanted to go and play some other golf courses. We wanted to get over to Quebec and play up at Tremblant and stuff. And we didn't get that part of it done. We might still before the end of the year, but it is getting colder and time is getting more limited. So in that respect, no, I didn't play as much 18-hole away from home golf as I wanted to, but definitely played enough 9-hole rounds. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm almost exactly the same. I managed to get a decent amount of golf in. Didn't play a lot of tournaments. I still have a couple of scrambles left here coming up. Obviously started to travel a little bit again, so got a few trips in that way. But I would say the same. I didn't play as many within the region that I sort of hoped. Obviously get away for some different events and things like that, but that's not quite the same as casual play when you want to, whether that be a trip up to the Ottawa Valley or here or there. I mean, yeah, probably didn't play as much of that, and that was an intention at the start of the year. I remember sitting back at the start of the year and going, "Man, I'd like to get out and play some of those golf courses I haven't played in a long, long while." But he just seemed to run out of time, like everyone
Well,
else.
yeah, and I think if I had to pinpoint, I mean, it's an opinion more than anything else as to why those numbers would be, obviously a majority no.
Right.
I think it has to do with all those things that you mentioned combined. I think people had to go back to work. They had to go back to the office, so they weren't working from home as much. They didn't have that flexibility of leaving at 1:30 in the afternoon and
Right.
going golfing. I think because of things opening up more golf courses hosted more tournaments than they had. I mean, I know for a fact,
Agreed.
I live very close to Metcalfe Golf Club,
Yep.
right across the street, in fact, and I can tell you for a fact that golf course was rocking tournaments all year long.
Right.
Now, in the last year, there were more tournaments there, but not I don't think, and I don't know
Probably.
their numbers, but it didn't seem as tournament busy last year as it did this year, and definitely not as tournament busy from 2 years ago when the whole COVID thing was really, and everybody was just, it was just tee
Right.
times. And
Yep.
I think that probably plays a big factor, and people went away. There's no question. I mean, how many people I talked to, and I'm sure you did as well. It's, oh, we're going away this weekend. Oh, we're
Right.
going away. Oh, we're going away. Oh, we're going away. Well, you weren't
Yeah.
talking about doing that the last couple of years. So I think now
No.
that people are doing that, that's got an effect
Yeah.
on how much golf they're playing as well.
Yeah, and I think that really, when people go away as well, that sort of affects their routine more than just the time away itself. So they go away for a vacation for a week, then they come back and they're trying to catch up on things. So it doubles the amount of time that they're actually probably away from their golf course. But yeah, that seemed to be the trend kind of overall. So yeah, I guess that explains probably a lot why the poll ended up probably swung towards the 60% side. But something to monitor and something to discuss as we go into the year. I definitely starting to see more availability in tee sheets for sure, and
No question.
some golf courses that maybe weren't looking for members are now seeking some members. So
It had to happen. I mean, and if anybody,
yeah.
if anybody inside the industry thought that whatever happened the last couple of years was the new trend for golf, I mean,
No.
come on, like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything,
No,
but
no.
you have to be pretty,
Yeah.
naive and blind
Yeah.
to see that this was going to go back to some level of what it was 2 years ago. Now,
yeah, we're seeing some private clubs that that do have full lists and they still have waiting lists and so forth. But definitely on the public side, we're definitely seeing some softer tee sheets and some availability for memberships.
Definitely. Now, hopefully, it doesn't go way back to what it was, 2-3 years ago, but some level of some type of balance had to happen, and I think we're starting to see that now. We'll see. All right. It's another season.
Well,
all right.
Something to pay attention to.
Okay. We're gonna get out. Quick break. Pay some bills. And when we come back, we're gonna get our interview in. And we're gonna go to the lesson tee. And we're going to talk about some outdoor clothing
Products
on Product Watch. Yes. So we'll just leave it sort of open-ended to say, hey, what are they going to talk about? But we do have to take a break. So stay with us. You're listening to and watching the Flagstick podcast, and we'll be right back.
At Ping, we're an engineering company. Success is measured in the lab and on your scorecard. We focus on results. Your results. In the G425 Max driver, that means more time in the fairway, less time in the rough. It means longer drives, shorter approach shots, and fewer putts. The new G425 drivers, taking MOI to the max. Get fit today.
Visit ca.ping.com to learn more about G425.
And we are back on the Flagstick podcast with myself, Jeff Botter, and Scott McLeod. And it is that time in the show when we try to help you with your golf game a little bit if we can. That's not really us that's helping you with your golf game. It's either Kevin Haime or Jake Haime that do the fixing on the lesson tee, and we're definitely looking to do some fixing on the lesson tee, which is brought to you by the Kevin Haime Golf School. It's always the right time to play better golf, whether you need a private lesson, a better short game, some putting help, or even a custom club fitting. Visit kevinhaime.com, and remember that better golf is a lot more fun. Now, in this edition of the lesson tee, Kevin is going to take the reins, and he is going to show how simply moving your ball position can greatly improve your weight shift. Seems simple enough. Let's find out what he's talking about.
Okay, golfers, time for a quick tip, and today we're talking ball position. Not a day goes by in my lesson tee that I don't see someone try to put their short irons too far back or get stuck on their back leg to hit. You've got to get the golf ball forward in golf. I'm going to give you a great drill today to practice that. Typically, I'd like the golf ball under my lead ear so I can move into impact, get on my lead leg and rotate and hit that ball solid. But here's my drill. Instead of hitting a golf ball off my lead ear, which is, of course, pretty easy for me, I'm going to move the ball 7 inches forward. I still address this position, but now it really forces me to move onto my leg and hit that golf ball. Students are amazed you can do that. Try it at home. Move the ball well forward and you'll start getting onto your lead leg.
Well, indeed, don't most of these tips seem simple enough until you actually have to try and work with it. You try to execute what's being told to you, and then actually spend some time working on it. Because if you think for a minute that you're going to do one thing once, and the miracle of the golf swing is going to transform you into a superstar, you're sadly mistaken. You know more about this than I do, Scott. I mean, I do profess to know a little bit, but ball position, weight shift.
Yeah, well, in this particular case, basically using a drill by moving the ball basically 6 or 7 inches forward in the stance to try to promote your movement onto your lead side. A lot of players, as Kevin mentioned, sort of make a swing at the golf club, but kind of fall back onto their back foot, trying to help the golf ball in the air. We need them to be moving forward and moving their pressure in their feet towards their lead foot. So basically this drill, just by moving golf ball up 6-7 inches forward, it allows you to kind of, or promotes you to kind of chase it a little bit and get a feel for that movement. So good little drill there. Very simple, very easy to do, but really will help the player kind of move that sternum and move their lower body forward in the golf swing, where a lot of people think that they're going to have no lateral movement in their golf swing. So again, not something that you want to be doing in your normal game, but as a drill, very effective for what he's trying to achieve here.
Perfect. All right. Well, there you go. Help is on the way once again. Just check out the lesson tee, and you can check out all of the lesson tee videos and tips on the Flagstick channel, and you'll find all of the individual lesson tees broken out on their own. So you can check those out, or you go to flagstick.com and we post them all up there as well.
So. So just search for Flagstick Golf on YouTube and you'll find them all.
Beautiful. So there you go. All right. Diving into the back nine in a big way with Golf Sim Gurus. Work on your game all year round in the privacy of your own home. Custom golf simulator setups built to your specs to fit your budget. Visit golfsimgurus.ca to learn more. And like I said before, now's the time. Like, don't wait any longer, because I guarantee Andy is busy. He's got a new project opening up in Kemptville with Celtic Golf Center, which we'll have Andy on an upcoming episode to talk about that facility, brand new facility in Kemptville. And he's going to be busy with that, as well as some installs. So if you're looking to get a simulator, you better
book it now.
Get on it.
You got it.
All right. Every episode, the back nine can consist of any number of things, and one of the things we said the last in episode 21. Sounds like a Star Trek thing in episode 21 of Flagstick. In the last episode of Flagstick podcast, we mentioned that as we enter into the off season around here, especially with the weather and stuff, that we would be trying to do some different things with bringing in guests on the podcast, doing interviews and playing those interviews, and really, trying to enhance or to what's the word I'm looking for? Try to
I don't know, Jeff.
Dress up the show a little bit with some different stuff instead of just news. And we're going to start that off. Scott obviously just got back. This is why we missed a week. Got back from out west and attended the Adidas Golf Worldwide product launch, and had an opportunity to sit down with Sarah Marai, who is the global product director for Adidas Golf Worldwide, and had a great chat with her. And we're fortunate that put together this nice interview, and we're going to play that interview that Scott had with Sarah right now on Flagstick Podcast. Take a listen to this.
All right, we're here for a launch today in Whistler, BC. How long have you been working on this project?
So I've been working on Fleece, so we work on an 18-month time frame. So right now we're working on starting fall 24. So we've been working on this for a year and a half, 2 years.
What's it feel like to finally sort of get it uncovered a little bit, even just to the media?
Yeah, I mean, I love it to see you guys walking around in some of the apparel, because, typically we just see it in fittings. I don't really see it on body, so it's so cool to see it on body, on different bodies, and to see how different people kind of style it and make it their own. So it's really fun to see it actually come to life.
And what was the concept that you were going for when you came into this project?
Yeah, so obviously the world has changed and golf consumers have changed, and really expecting different things from their wardrobe. They don't always want their typical golf gear. They want stuff that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, stuff they can maybe wear off the course. So really kind of inspired by outdoor and what's going on in the streets, and taking that love of fleece, which everyone loves because it's cozy, it looks cool, and how do we make that performance in Adidas? And so really infusing some of those fleece pieces with style and technology, and then bringing them to the golf course.
So do you look within the Adidas family for some other inspiration, or where do you look for normally?
I mean, I think inspiration honestly comes from everywhere. Obviously, there's, originals in Adidas is very cool. There's a lot of crossover between skate and golf going on right now, which is fun to see. Outdoor, obviously we have a great outdoor business unit that does really great things with outdoor, but still we need to make it work for golf. Some of the needs for the outdoor business or the skate business aren't the same, so kind of taking what they're doing but making sure we're doing what's right for golf, but then also looking to the street. We used to say that golf fashion industry is a little bit slower, and I don't think we can say that anymore. There's so much trend and fashion and street that's being brought, and golf is actually cool. You're seeing golf influence other business units or other brands or other apparel too, so that's really fun to kind of see the influence that golf has had in fashion as well.
Nice, that's interesting. Even within that, when you start to look at the individual pieces, were there certain places that you needed or wanted to go, especially when you looked at the golf market and said, hey, you know what, that's missing there, I think I need to tackle that? Yeah,
so I mean, if you look at specifically the chore coat, I think there hasn't been something like that done in golf, and actually that's the brainchild of my boss, Sean Madigan. He is definitely on trend and on fashion. It was like, I want something that I would wear off the course that I can wear on the course. So how can we make this chore coat for golf? So it's got stretch woven, it has DWR, the fleece is really great stretch and recovery. So we really wanted to kind of build those pieces for people that want something that kind of represents who they are on and off the golf course.
So fashion's obviously important. It obviously influences how people, look at product. Technology is super important as well. Why don't you kind of outline some of the technologies that have gone into some of the pieces that are part of this collection? So
we are a performance golf brand. I mean, number one, everything has to perform. Everything has to have some sort of performance benefits, stretch, comfort. DWR is durable water resistance. There are pieces that are stretch woven, so they have a lot of stretch, a lot of recovery, but the water will kind of bead off of you. We're also launching Rain Ready, which is a 3-layer knit. So that's super technical fabric. There's a kind of a really soft knit on the outside that's really quiet. It has 4-way stretch, and it's water resistant, so the water kind of beads off of it, so the water isn't absorbed and doesn't get heavy. The second layer is a PU membrane, and then the third layer is just another knit, so it fits really soft against your skin. So there's just a lot of different kind of technical pieces that are coming to life this season.
And it's a pretty wide-ranging collection. There are a lot of pieces that are in there. How hard is it to kind of maybe control yourself a little bit when you look at the collection. You start creating, you start looking at a lot of pieces. You want to make more and more, but it obviously has to be effective for your retailers and everything. How do you sort of narrow down the collection?
Yeah, I mean, it is not easy because they're all my children, right? So
yes,
I love every single one of them the same. And we really try and balance it. So while we do have some of these more progressive pieces, the chore coat, the printed crew, we still understand that golfers need their traditional quarter zips. So it's really kind of a balance of where we can push, how many things we want to push, and then balancing it with, some of the more core basic needs of the golfer as well. So I don't know that there's an easy answer to how we, kind of understand what we need, but we have a good idea of, how many different quarter zips we can sell and what people are looking for from us. But I mean, ultimately, I would love to make a lot of things because layering is so fun. There's so many different things you can do versus, polos are a little bit trickier.
Within the process for development, obviously you have a lot of resources with your team to kind of lean on. How often do you bring in sort of advice from average golfers, maybe some of the adidas professional staff, other people, other voices outside the company? Yeah,
I mean, all the time. It's super important to listen to everyone. I mean, I'm not a male golfer and I work on the men's product line, so I need to listen to the male golfer. I need to understand our consumer. My husband is a golfer and he tells me every single day at dinner. So, I mean, every day I listen. No, we start out our creation process kind of talking to the consumer, listening to the consumer. We obviously have a lot of golfers in our building. We're in Carlsbad. We're so close to a lot of the other golf businesses, but definitely it's so important to listen to the consumer. I'll go online and read reviews and understand what people are saying. So it's built for the consumer, so we need to listen to the consumer.
You mentioned going online. What's the influence there as far as social media and the trends that you kind of see there?
I mean, it's really fun with some of the influencers like a Matt Cardis to see how he wears his product or how he styles his product. And also, listening to him and the way he wears our product and some of his needs. And, we talk to him a lot about how do you want your cuffs. Cuffs are so important because, you push your cuff up or, how much stretch or how much your pant fits. So it's really important to look at these guys to see how they're styling and kind of take a little bit of a step back and just listen, like you were saying, but listen through a social media lens and look at how everyone is actually wearing the product.
Nice. And lastly, what are the decisions that go into color palettes for you as far as especially this collection in particular?
So actually we get Global Adidas has a trend team, and they are looking at color for all of the business units. And so they are way far in advance, and they kind of will tell us, here's your seasonal palette. And then our design team takes those seasonal colors and really understands what will work for the golf market and how to pair those up for the golf market. Because golfers are a little bit different than, running and training. So how do we use all of the information that we've been given from the Adidas trend team and apply it to golf? So our design team works on that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, definitely, this is a sign of things to come on this podcast. This kinds of interviews. This is going to be a lot of fun this off season.
For sure.
What a great, Scott. Maybe now that we've played the interview, maybe you can kind of sum it up.
Yeah, really. I went out to Whistler, BC. Adidas brought basically media people, some influencers, all sorts of different people in there, debuting this Fleece and Fairways product line, really showing some fun ways to incorporate fleece into their outerwear, their rain-ready wear as well. They had really unique rainwear, which we didn't mention in there, but we ended up testing it. They were hoping for some weather out there, but we didn't quite get the weather, so they made the weather.
Oh my god!
And in fact, when we're playing the Chateau Whistler golf course on the third hole, basically the cart screen says warning, rain incoming, third hole, and we're like, what are they talking about? And we got there, one of the superintendents had the big hose out, and we had to don all this new rain gear, and while they ran water all over the place, we had to hit shots. So but fun event. Nice to spend some time with that, not only the Adidas Canada team that we know pretty well, but the design team and everybody from the US, get a feel for where they're headed with their products for Adidas Golf, get a deeper look into their technology, what they're going to be incorporating not only now but into the future. Just get a better essence for the company, and obviously a great setting in Whistler, BC. Never going to complain. Never going to complain about that. But yeah, it was nice of Sarah to sit down and have a chat about this product, and especially for these people, they work on these products, as she mentioned. They work on these product cycles way far in advance, so it's nice for them to all of a sudden get to see their products out in the wild.
In the wild, is that how you describe you guys?
Yeah, they're working in their offices under wraps, and to all of a sudden be able to present them out to kind of media members, and for them to see it, and for us to get to spend the time there to talk to them about their intentions of the product with a lot of their other team as well. So fun to do, and I appreciate Sarah taking the time to do that. Look forward to having more conversations with her, and look forward to sharing more of these conversations, especially with the golf industry, with our listeners and our viewers over the winter months.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I mean, I'm really looking forward to how we sort of progress the podcast over the winter off season, and do some different things. It should be cool. All right. Well, sticking along the lines of product, we do have to jump into Product Watch. Product Watch is brought to you by Greensmere Golf and Country Club. Elevate your game at Greensmere. Choose between two great 18-hole championship courses, distinctively different, definitely challenging. Visit greensmere.com for more info or to book a tee time. Beautiful fall colors at Greensmere, so you'll enjoy that for sure. Product Watch this episode, Scott. Galway Bay released a new their 2023 rainwear collection, and you wanted to talk about at least one or two of their pieces.
Yeah, Galway Bay is if people are not familiar with Galway, it's actually a town in Ireland. This is what it's named after, but it's a Michigan-based company that's been making outerwear for just over a decade now. Sort of became well known for some of their lined rain pants, which a lot of people hadn't seen before, but are starting to become common now. But they've got some great new pieces in their 2023 rainwear collection. Was able to get a little bit of a preview of it that we can share. But one of the key pieces within it is a super lightweight waterproof jacket that's reversible, which is kind of neat because, let's just say a lot of rainwear doesn't have a lot of style to it. It's obviously a lot easier just to get, a black rain suit that, will go with sort of everything rather than something that's a little bit more stylish. But they go a little bit differently in the fact that making these tops sort of reversible so that you get a solid pattern on one side and a tartan pattern on the other side. Now, one side is more waterproof than the other, but there's certainly the characteristics of the the tartan piece on the inside still has some waterproofing, some windproofing capabilities. So they make that not only in a rain jacket, they have a quarter zip polo as well. Lots of color choices for the kind of the outside, but nice design too. It's just not a plain jacket. They do a good job with features like a high collar, which people don't really think about a lot and why that's important for rainwear. But, when you're out playing in the rain, one of the places where people tend to get wet is they tend to get water rolling down the back of their neck from their hats. So it's good to have really good collar protection in the back. And they make sure to do that. As I mentioned, good colorways here, good waterproofing, tend to be warmer as well. These are sort of a warmer rainwear. Sometimes you get super lightweight rainwear that is good for really in the summer, but I would say Galway really shines with their Hydroflex 32 material. That's not only lightweight, but it has some warmth as well. So, if you're planning to go for a trip to Ireland or Scotland, tend to wear your rain gear in the fall or the springtime, probably a really good choice. And, I'm excited to see kind of where they go with some of their product lines. They seem to get better and better every year, but these reversible jackets are pretty solid.
Cool. Awesome. Reversible jackets. Yeah, we do tend to get that sort of bone chilling when it does rain. especially around here when it does rain in the fall, it's not
comfortable.
very comfortable.
No, I'm getting ready for that for a couple of scrambles. I've got on the 16th and the 22nd. I've got 2 scrambles coming up, and I'm sure, although our weather has been wonderful the last number of days, I'm sure those particular days will be horrific for weather, as they always are.
I don't know. I've heard the 16th you might be okay. I don't know about the later one, but
second might be a trouble.
Yeah, because I know this weekend I think we're supposed to get a little cooler coming through Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Gobble everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
everyone.
happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey day. Or your tofu turkey day, whatever your preference.
Sure.
So it's gonna be a little chillier, but I heard it's warming up after that. So
that's
maybe
good.
I get some nice,
because I'll need it, because usually you bring out every piece of clothing you own for some of these fall scrambles. And while it's fun to play with your usual team, and I have a usual team that I play with, great to get out to the golf courses. The 2 are going to be at one's at Black Bear Ridge, one's at Rock Bay. Always great to play those golf courses, but if we had years where it's 5 degrees and it's blowing 80k, get some wind in there, it makes it rather challenging.
Neither one of those courses would be a whole lot of fun to play in high winds and cold temperatures.
They can be challenging for sure.
Well, especially Cataraqui is right on Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario there, so that's going to be enjoy. I'm glad that I'm not part of your team.
That might be the last couple rounds of the year, unfortunately, but we'll see.
It is what it is, right? It is fall golf, and that's what we do. We suck it up and we play.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, great show.
Thank you, sir.
This week. Good comeback after the another week.
I promise not to go away for a while now.
Well, you know what? We may, like we said before, we may do this from time to time. We may skip a week here and there and drum up some cool interviews and stuff to bring back instead of just coming every week if we've got nothing really cool to talk about. There's always something to talk about. It's golf, God. There's always going to be something to talk about. So anyway,
I think so.
Great show. Well done. Awesome.
You too.
All right. Listen, we got to get out now.
Yep.
We've done our business. We're moving on. I am the champion. Don't pout too much.
You didn't win any points, so
I did nothing. I did nothing. Thanks, HPs, for making me look good once again.
Yeah.
But we got to get out, go do some other stuff. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Again, this week, Metcalf Golf Club, Golf Sim Gurus, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, Kevin Haime Golf School, and the presenting sponsor, Ping Golf Canada. If you're looking to improve your game, then you need to check out, and I mean you need to check out, the entire family of G425 drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons at ca.ping.com. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure you are, but hopefully you're enjoying everything that you're watching and hearing on the podcast. Be sure to follow us across all of the social media networks, because we got them all: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcast, and of course, Apple Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us, click the notification bell, make sure that you never miss any episodes of the podcast. Get over to flagstick.com. It may be the off season, but we don't stop working. We don't stop putting stuff up there. So you're going to find great golf content every single day delivered right for you. While I'm thinking about it, subscribe to Flagstick Digest. Because then you get, whenever we do drop something new, it goes out 3 times a week. Whenever we do drop something new, you're going to see it right there and be able to kind of click over and link to it. So do that. Go to flagstick.com and subscribe to Flagstick Digest too, please. As always, appreciate you tuning in. But until next week, I'm Jeff Botter.
Scott McLeod.
Always remember, go for the stick.